little country at the top of the Africa. I can't think of it either. There was quite an extensive amount of people, 20-some people got killed. World's got to stand up against them.
Not a good place to want to live.
No. These days, where do you live and get away from them?
Yeah.
And I'd handle it a different way, I'll tell you that. You should get that old clock around up there.
Yeah,
That beautiful old clock.
yeah. You need to fix it. It's been that way as long as I can remember.
Really, we should get that fixed and running. That's a neat old clock. It's a shame not to have it running.
Yeah, that's
Make a motion later on.
yeah,
Okay.
old regulator there.
I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and the town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of a decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure will be as follows. After each application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the committee's field observations and staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed for a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the committee. I ask that all testimony be kept brief, no more than 5 minutes, and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of the committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. Far left, Fred Gallop, Jerry Rathmo, Barry Mastacola,
Amy Schultz. Amy Schultz.
I want to know if you knew your own name.
Yeah.
Amy, Terry Doc Pockstead to my right, zoning administrator, and my name is Mark Kirshner. First application that we are going to hear tonight, James and Janet Snuggs, Heartland, Wisconsin, have made application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 18, and 58-454, paragraph 31 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to store a 2001 Hornet 31-foot travel trailer in an AG-5 general agricultural 5-acre minimum lot size zone within the shoreland area. Location: an approximately 30.2 acre parcel of land known as Lot 2 of Certified Survey Map number 5483, being the west half of the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter and part of the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter, Section 10, Town 20 North, Range 10 East, Town of Rose, County Road P. The last person to join us is Donna Collada, our county board chair. Thank you for coming, Donna.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm trying to stop
Okay,
this.
would the applicant come forward, please? Can you state your name for the record, please?
Janet Snuggs.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you want to do out there, Janet?
We bought the property for recreational purposes. Right now, we just got it in the beginning of January and would like to put the camper on there so we can utilize it for, more than a weekend at a time without having to tow it back and forth. Eventually, we would like to put some power on it and some run water and septic to it, and maybe put a permanent structure on it at some point or another. We haven't, again, we just had it for a couple of months and really only walked the land once. So we need to spend some time on it and figure out what direction we really want to go in.
Okay. The committee has a few questions for you. Committee questions, please? Fred?
Sure. Has there been a recent survey?
We did not take a survey, but all of the paperwork that I have from the previous owner I sent along. So that's all I've got as a survey.
Okay.
I was told that there are specific lot line markers all the way around the property, but we couldn't get to it because of the snow.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Do you know where those lot line markers are?
He said they're very clearly marked, but because of the snow, we couldn't find them.
Okay. Is the trailer licensed and roadworthy?
Yes.
Will the trailer be at least 100 feet from all the lot lines?
Yes.
Will the trailer be placed in an opening by the old borrow pit and abandoned outhouse?
Oh, we were where the drive goes in. We had thought about that, but there's a clearing a little bit further beyond that. The road was cleared, and there's a shed to the west of that. I don't know if you saw that or not, but there's an opening there, and we had actually thought about putting the trailer out in more of the opening.
Pardon me, Barry, I believe that's the opening that you and I
Right.
kind of looked at or
Right.
saw.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Fred.
Will the trailer be visible from the public road?
I don't think so. I don't know. It depends on how much tree cover there is.
Okay. Will there be running water?
Not until we can get a permit to put water on there. We're just going to carry water in.
What type of sanitary facilities are planned?
We have a biodegradable toilet that we have purchased. So it's basically take and dump.
Are any other buildings or structures planned?
Nothing's planned at this point.
Are there other trailers in the area?
No.
Is a new driveway needed, or will you be using the existing driveway?
At this particular point, we're using the existing until we figure out what direction we want to go in.
Is this property in the managed forest law?
I don't believe so. I'm not sure.
Do you have a uniform property address number at this point?
I didn't think we could get one until we put, water or sewer or electric on it.
If an approval is granted, when would your trailer be placed?
In April, end of April sometime, early May.
Those are all the questions I have.
Anybody else got any questions? Jerry or Barry? Donna, you looked at the, you got everything there that you... Okay, you can sit down now. Thank you. Correspondence?
For this application and the other one, we did get a note from DNR that they do not have any comments. And then we got a letter on March 13th from the Town of Rose, Lois Kolka, the clerk, and it's addressed to me. Dear Terry, the Town Board in the regular meeting on Monday, March 9th, 2015, has discussed the application for conditional use for James and Janet Snuggs to place a travel trailer in the Town of Rose. This matter is coming up at a public hearing on March 19th, 2015. The Town Board does not have a problem with the issuing of the conditional use as long as the travel trailer is not visible from the road now or in the future. thank you, and if you have any questions concerning this matter, please let us know. That's very truly yours, Town of Rose, Lois Coca, Clerk. And that's it for correspondence, and no one registered.
Nobody registered in favor or opposition. Staff comments, please?
For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other pertinent data for this and the other application that they'll be considering tonight. I'd like to explain a little bit about conditional use permits. All defined zones have uses that are permitted outright. You can just get a permit and do them. And others require that you go through the public hearing process for a conditional use, and you have to meet certain conditions. Hence, that's where the conditional use part of the permit comes from. And the committee looks at that, and they want to make sure that it's still in keeping with the surrounding properties and other uses in the area, and that the code requirements that have the conditions are complied with. It's the landowner's responsibility to provide the information that shows the committee this use is still in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for, and that the conditions placed on it will ensure it will be a good neighbor to the surrounding landowners. At the time of the onsite, the committee noted that the proposed location appears to be far enough from the road that the unit should not be visible, and that the unit should have a uniform address number assigned in case something happens while you're out there. And that's it. I really don't have any comments.
Is there anything that you'd like to add, Janet? Okay, all right, thank you. Next application, conditional use. Joseph C. and Vicki E. Fisher, Living Trust, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, has made application for a conditional use use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 18, and 58-454, paragraph 31 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to store a 2009 Wildwood 29-foot travel trailer in an AG-3 general agricultural 3-acre minimum lot size zone within the shoreland area. Location, an approximate 38.655 acre parcel of land known as the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter, except certified survey map number 1613, section 32, town 19 north, range 9 east, town of Deerfield, fire number W11549 Buttercup Avenue. Is the applicant present? Yes. Would you come forward, please? Would you state your name for the record, please?
Joseph Fisher.
Can you kind of tell us what you want to do there, Joseph?
My wife and I purchased the property for recreational use also. Took them up on weekends through the warmer parts of the year.
Any questions?
Has there been a recent survey of your property?
I had two of the front corners of the property identified when I purchased it, because there was a question over where those property boundaries were. When the purchase of the property behind me was done, which has an easement road or driveway to get back there, then the survey was done on the back corners of the property by that owner now.
The front corners have not been?
The two front corners, which should be the northeast corners, have been identified.
So you're familiar with the lot lines and where they are now?
Correct.
And your trailer obviously licensed 2009, I would expect to be roadworthy, correct?
It is roadworthy, yes.
And as far as location, we're looking to put the trailer at least 100 feet from the lot lines?
Correct.
And we've went and visibly looked at the lot from where you explained the trailer to be placed. Certainly looks from the road it's going to be not visible. Is that in your estimation too? Is it going to be visible from the road?
No.
Running water?
It has a well, and the property has a well in it now.
Okay, yeah, I read that. And as far as sanitary facilities, currently you have within the trailer itself, you're going to be using the facility within a trailer, or are you going to have something exterior?
Based on the outcome of the decision tonight, I'm going to put a septic on the property.
any other trailers in the area?
Not on my property, no.
And the existing driveway, as far as the one we had viewed, that's the one you're gonna be using to access the
Correct.
location? And just FYI, is the property in managed forest? Is it managed forest
Yes.
acreage or?
Yeah.
And do you have a uniform property address?
Yes, 11549.
I have no other questions.
The building that was out there, Joseph, can you tell us what that building is or what's in there?
The building is 6 foot by 6 foot square. It contains an electrical panel, 200 amp service, and it contains the pressure tank for the well that Barry had asked about.
When we were out there from the road, I think we could see an electrical pedestal. Is that
Correct.
about where the trailer's going to be, or is it there
No, the
already?
trailer's actually past that.
And it's already there?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other committee questions? Fred or Jerry?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
And when you're in the MFL, is there any problem with placing a trailer? I'm not familiar with the rules enough to.
Okay. When I established the managed forest for the property, in approximately the center of the property, there was 1.69 acres that were excluded from the managed forest, and that's where the trailer sits. And that's where the well and this building that was asked about, that's where they're all contained in that 1.69 acres.
Okay. And then are you planning any other structures or not at this time?
Potentially, we would be looking at replacing the trailer with a small cabin.
That's it for me.
The well is in that area too then, right, Joseph?
Correct. It's in very close proximity to the building that you asked about.
Is there any other questions? Donna, or anything? Okay, thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
Again, the note from DNR that they have no comment. And then on March 11th, Tom Whaley, the town chair of Deerfield, called, and he noted that the town board had visited the Joseph and Vicki Fisher travel trailer application site, and the consensus of the board was that the town was okay with the granting of the permit, provided the travel trailer is not visible from the town road. That's it.
I also spoke with Mr. Whaley, and that was the only concern they had was that was it. Anyone in favor of objecting or information?
Nope, no one registered.
Staff comments, please.
Again, we have a conditional use permit, so now I'll describe a little bit about travel trailers since we have two. Waushara County wrestled with them for a while on what to do and finally came up with the plan that if you have more than 10 acres and it's zoned agricultural, you can apply for a conditional use permit to keep the trailer there when you're not there. Otherwise, when you come and camp in your trailer, the camper should go home with you or be put inside of a completely enclosed building. And there are a bunch of requirements. It needs to be kept licensed and roadworthy. Proper sanitary facilities must be on premises other than just in the unit, for health and safety. We do an annual inspection of them every year. There is a small fee for that. And then we just make sure that they can be taken out should they get to the condition where they should be removed, rather than sitting there and deteriorating. So that's the conditional use permit and some of the parameters. At the time of the on-site, the committee noted that the property was not accessible to them, but that the unit should be screened from the public road because of the thick vegetation present on the property. And that's it for comments.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Joseph? Okay, thank you. Okay, that concludes our applications for the zoning committee. We will move to room 263 to conduct our business meeting. Board of Adjustments will meet next right here. Right this way, Schumacher. No.
I think so. He wasn't sure what your last name was. That's what I'm guessing.
That's the night. We are applying for a variance on our land. Are we supposed to?
You're up next. Yep, it's two different committees, so we'll be happy. Gentleman here. Oh, no, I got the room. I just need. I'm ready.
You bet.
I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Please remember to keep your comments brief. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator. The committee has looked at all of the properties and a record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct their monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the public hearing. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. I will now introduce the committee. Seated on my left, Larry Tim, Mark Schumacher, Dave Williams, and I'm Kevin Fitzgerald. Our first variance tonight is an application by Gregory A. and Connie R. Dahlman, Grafton, Wisconsin. And they have made application for a variance in accordance with sections 58-235, sub A, paragraph 4, and 5A of the Waushara County Zoning Code to convert an existing 22 by 24 attached garage to living space. Improvements exceeding maintenance and repair allowed to an existing non-conforming dwelling. Non-conforming due to side lot setback in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreland area. The location: a parcel of land known as Lot Number 1 of Certified Survey Map Number 3106, being part of Government Lots 1 and 2, Sections 32 and 33. Township 19 North, R11 East, Town of Mount Morris, Johns Lake. North 2723 Johns Lake Road. Is the applicant here? Please step forward, please. Please state your name for the record, and please tell us a little bit about what you want to do.
Sure. I'm Connie Dahlman. We purchased this property the end of October, and we love it, but we wanted to convert a garage into like a, kind of an extra living space and storage instead of using it as a garage.
I got a few questions for you here.
I hope I can answer them.
We'll try. Has there been a recent survey, and are you sure of the lot lines?
We had a partial survey when we purchased the property, and then what was the survey date?
1995.
1995. Has there been a change to the location of the northerly lot line with the survey? Do you know why the structure is considered non-conforming?
I believe that previous owners, it was close to another neighbor's lot line, so they had worked this out many years ago.
What previous additions were done and when? Do you know what they did?
No.
Well, the last thing we know is they built the.
Would you state your name?
Oh,
State your
sorry.
name, please.
I'm her husband, Gregory. The last thing we know is I believe in '95 they built the two-car attached garage.
all the additions were done by the prior owners.
Yeah, we just took ownership in October.
Will there be any additional impervious surface adding to stormwater runoff with your proposal?
No, there's no change.
Will there be a need for any filling or grading inside the garage or anything? Okay. Will the finish height change?
No.
Have you talked with the builder, and will this construction be allowed under current building code requirements?
Hi, Addison Silverthorne, I'm the contractor. I didn't catch
Okay.
your name.
You want the name?
Yes.
Your name, please.
Addison Silverthorne.
Addison?
Addison. Silver in the color, thorn is on a bush, one word.
Thank you.
No problem.
I don't hear well, I still
And
didn't get,
that's fine, Silverthorne.
oh, okay.
You've answered that question 1 or 2 times before, I think.
Once or twice, yes.
Okay, what were
Sorry.
you gonna say now, sir?
Okay, your question again?
Have you talked with a builder, and will this construction be allowed under current building code requirements?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Are any other improvements planned?
Not at this,
Yes or
no.
No. Are you planning on a garage at some point?
We own a 2-acre parcel across the street that has a 40 by 30-foot pole barn on it, and that's why we don't need a garage, because we already have an approved structure.
We saw that.
Yes.
So you're not planning another garage on this property because you have the detached garage across the road?
Correct.
Okay.
And the land you own across the street, is that where the septic system is located?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a pump that pumps it up that way?
Yes.
Is the septic system properly sized for the home?
As far as the inspections, yes, there was.
Will all other setbacks be met?
Yes.
Have you considered other options? Okay, what are the hardships and unique property limitations which would support this variance?
As of right now, from talking with Rick Erdl, he said that all they can do because of the encroachment on one of the setbacks is maintenance and repair. Where the footprint of the house of the property is not changing whatsoever. All we want to do is take the garage door out, put a wall in there. The siding on that wall would match the existing siding on the house, and then carpet that area. Part of that would be left for storage, part of it would be left for living space.
It will not be sleeping space? Will it be,
At this point, it's more family room, game room type of area.
the windows to the one side would not meet egress as far as sleeping?
No, but on the copy of the floor plan, there would be three 3-foot by 4-foot
Lungs?
windows that would be added in where the garage door used to be. And that would meet the 8% minimum.
Light and
light-
ventilation?
Yes. Sure.
Are there other non-conforming structures on the property?
Not to my knowledge.
Not that we
No.
know.
Have you thought about restoring your shoreline?
We haven't really been there long enough to know exactly what the shoreline exists of in full blown.
Do you know what permits you will need?
I was told we'd need the building permit, of course, and I think your inspector said a land use permit. And I could be mistaken on that, but I thought that's what we'd need those two permits. You know, I know the building for sure, but I thought he said the other one would be like a land use.
If an approval is granted, when would you start construction?
Within a couple of weeks.
Committee, any questions?
Well, when we visited the property, first of all, for your information, when we go through the variance process, we're obligated to take a look at other things on the property that don't conform with the codes. And the two things that we noted when we visited the property was the fire pit and the patio near the water, and also the fact that the boathouse and the sidewalk is not within the required viewing corridor, okay? And that, you know, it looked like some vegetation could be improved along the shoreline. And so that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. And I guess I just wanted your reaction as to, is that something that you'd be willing to work with the zoning office on?
I mean, that's something that we could definitely, look at.
Okay. Because that's, you know, one thing that when we go through variance applications, we're obligated to look at these other things. I mean, you're in a unique situation there because you've got a lot of land across the road. So you've got room if you want to put another storage building up, or if your septic system would fail. That's a pretty big chunk of property across the road. But there are some things down on the shoreline that could use some tweaking, and that's one of the things we discussed, and that's in our notes when we visited the property. So, okay.
Dave or Larry, anything?
No.
Correspondence?
I have one question before we get too
Zoning
far.
administrator, go right ahead.
Are there gutters and downspouts on the structure now?
There currently aren't, and when we asked the seller why, they had too many problems with pine needles.
Needles?
So that's why
Are you-
the previous seller owned the property for 18 years.
So-
He said he once had them on the property, clogged so often that he had them removed.
Are you planning on doing anything like gutters and
Yeah, to be honest
downspouts?
with you, we bought the house in October and we've yet to sleep in it, so it's really a matter of, we have to learn what it's all about before we make any decisions.
Yeah, I noticed later after the on-sites that one of the previous variances asked that it be guttered and downspouts put on there because there was some stormwater concerns. So that might be something that we should look at.
There were
And
variances granted, and that was probably one of the things that was required, and if he took them off, they shouldn't be taken off.
We're not aware of it.
No, and no one would think that you were. And the reason for asking for the survey, all the survey questions, is it looks like at one point, one survey showed that the retaining wall on the north side was over the lot line.
It was, that's why the north end of the property we had it reshot before we purchased it, and there was indeed what had happened is the two owners, the owner to the north, didn't want a large tree taken down years ago when they built the retaining wall, so they built the wall around it. For whatever reason, we're not privy to what happened there, but then the two landowners didn't get along, and when the seller sold the property, the owner adjacent to the north said that wall has to get moved, and so that's all been rectified.
Okay, because that's why we were asking if the lot lines changed, because it's like, well, it was over the lot line at one point, and now it doesn't appear that it is, so.
The seller at his expense moved that
Okay.
wall, and it's all in conformity.
That explains it very well.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm done.
Correspondence now?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, we had that note from the DNR that they have no comments. That will apply to this and the next one. Oh, and we don't have any correspondence, and no one registered to speak.
Okay. Staff comments.
And you can have a seat.
Please have a seat, I'm sorry.
Did you register?
No,
It's your call.
but I'm your neighbor, and
You'll have to come up here and
Come
we'll
up
have
here,
to have
fill
you
out a
sign
slip quick.
You can fill it out before he leaves or something.
Before you leave, fill it out, but just make your comment now, okay?
all right. I'm in favor of what they're doing.
Could you tell us your name
My name is Roland Odie.
and where is your property?
My property is just north of theirs. And his corner of his house is too close to my lot line.
Okay,
I gave the former owner easement for it. And personally, I'm happy to have new neighbors.
okay. Anything else?
No, not
Would you
really.
fill out that slip, please, and then bring it back to us. Thank you.
I have not a pencil.
For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other pertinent data for this and the other application that they will be considering tonight. And they visited all of the properties and viewed the proposals and their location. They always get a much better idea of what's going on if they can actually physically see it. Now I'd like to explain a little bit about variances. Variances ask for a relaxation of a dimensional standard in the code. The decision to grant a variance must be backed by substantive reasons, which include an unnecessary hardship is being caused by the code requirement. There are unique limitations on the property that prevent the landowner from meeting the required dimensional standards. And finally, if the variance is granted, no harm will be done to the public interest or zoning code. It is the applicant's responsibility to present the case and provide the burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. The personal situation of the applicant, financial hardship, or nearby violations cannot be considered as valid reasons to grant a variance. When the board visited the property, they noted that the fire pit and patio do not appear to meet setbacks to the lake or the side lot line, and that the boathouse and walkway did not appear to be in the allowed view corridor for the lot, and that the vegetation along the shoreline is relatively sparse other than the tree cover. And that would be it for my comments.
Any other comments from the applicant? Nothing? Okay. Anything else? Our second variance request tonight. When Larry's ready.
I'm ready.
The second variance request tonight is Paul and Rebecca Turner, Berlin, Wisconsin, have made application for a variance in accordance with sections 58-235, sub A, paragraph 5, sub B, and 58-826, sub B of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 26 by 26 single-story addition exceeding 25% of additions and structural repairs allowed to an existing non-conforming dwelling, non-conforming due to road setback. And then after the fact, 8 by 24 foot covered porch coming to within 60 feet of the center line of County Road XX 75 foot setback required in the AG General Agricultural Zone. Location approximate 3.52 acre parcel of land known as lot number 1 of certified survey map number 5320. Now lot number 1 of certified survey map number 5400 being part of the northwest 1/4 of the southwest 1/4, section 14, township 18N, R13 East, town of Aurora. Address is N1464 County Road XX. Will the applicant please step forward and state your name and tell us a little bit what you'd like to do?
My name is Paul Turner. We bought our house in 2009, and it was a fixer-upper, nigh unto blower-upper. It was, pictures do not do it justice. The first thing we did when we bought it was buy a doorknob so we could lock the house. We have since gutted the entire first floor, remodeled it, opened it up, so the only bedroom that is existing is upstairs. And so we want to put an addition to the west that has 2 bedrooms in the basement, 1 bedroom, and master bedroom, master bathroom on the first floor because we have a 1-bedroom house currently with 7 children.
Okay. I have some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Best you can answer them. Has there been a recent survey?
I don't know if I haven't had a survey done, but I know where all the lot lines are because the neighbors know exactly where their lines are, and they are marked.
That answers number 2. You know where the road right-of-way is now?
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to the county highway department about this project?
No.
Is there enough room for parking and turning around so that no one has to back out to the road?
Yes.
Do you know why the structure is considered non-conforming?
Because it is within 75 feet, county roads require 75 feet setback from the center line.
Do you know what previous additions were done and which additions you did?
I know which additions I did. I know when we gutted the place, I mean, it's at least 4 additions over the years. The first house, I think, was built in the 1920s, because that's what the newspaper said under the floor. But you can see where, over time, when we gutted it, different studs, different walls changed and things like that. We built, we renovated in 2009, and the wraparound porch, I think, was 2010.
Will the porch that you built remain open?
Yes,
Do you have any plans to enclose it at any point?
not a chance.
How will you deal with stormwater runoff and ensure there is no erosion?
After the structure is completed, the house will have downspouts. The lawn is grass. I'm not sure exactly what more you would be looking for than downspouts, gutters and downspouts and things like that.
Are you going to be doing the addition yourself, or are you hiring a contractor?
I have a friend of mine who's a general contractor that's going to be framing it for me. I'll be doing all the finish work inside. Yeah, we're going to hire an excavator, and then we're paying for somebody to do the concrete work, the rough framing, the electrical, the plumbing and the HVAC. I'll do the electrical, and I may assist with the HVAC.
That's usually the excavator, but it's part of the, he's asking about having like a silt fence up, and you'll have to probably do that to keep anything from running down towards the road.
Okay,
But generally, the excavator does that.
okay,
You'll want to make sure, because you'll be the general contractor.
That'd be part of it.
okay, all right.
What type of foundation will this be placed on?
Board wall.
How much filling and grading will be done?
It'll be back to the existing levels that are there now.
What will the finished height of the addition be?
It'll be 1 story, so it'll tie in, if you have pictures of the house, it'll tie in to this, like the 1 story on the east side, and then you have the 2 story in the middle. This will be on the west side. It'll be that same height.
Can you give us an approximate height?
15 feet. It's a 412 pitch, so I'd say 15 feet.
Any other improvements planned?
No.
All other setbacks will be met?
Yes, sir.
What about the septic system?
It was built for 3. It was built it's less than 10 years old. I think 2005 it was installed, and the house will be technically 4-bedroom. We're going to use it as a 3-bedroom and an office. And they said that I could get a oversized affidavit signed.
You're adding bedrooms?
Yes, 2 in the basement and then 1 on the first floor.
How close to the at-grade mound will the construction be?
The corner will be approximately 14 feet from the toe of the mound.
Will you be able to keep equipment away from the mound system and your piping that come out of the house?
Hope so.
Any other considerations on other options?
We looked at going back, but there's already an existing 1-car garage back there, which we would have had to have torn off, and that was really the only other option that was available.
Hey, what are the hardships and unique property limitations which would support your request?
I forget which order these are on that paper, but I'm assuming that's because the house is within the 75 feet, and it was built, 100 years ago when there was no such thing as a building code, and it was probably a farm trail that went through to the other farms, and now it's become the county road, so we're within 75 feet.
If approved, do you know what permits you'd need?
All that John tells me I need. I know I need a building permit. I know I need a land use permit. I know I need the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, the whole. I just spoke with them today to find out how much it would cost, so I know all of them.
If an approval is granted, when would you like to start?
As soon as they remove the load restrictions on the county roads.
Any changes to the driveway at all?
At some point, I'm going to make it a circular driveway. Like when you guys were there, you could kind of see where I was driving on it. I'm going to dig it out and just so I can pull up to the front steps.
You'll just have one access on the
Yeah.
county road.
Yeah.
Any other committee questions? Dave?
Nope.
Larry? Correspondence, please.
Besides the note from DNR, we do have a letter that we received on March 17th from the town clerk for the town of Aurora, and it's addressed to me, Dear Terry. At a regular board meeting last Thursday, the Aurora board met with Paul Turner at the town hall. Mr. Turner presented to the board the plans for his proposed addition. A discussion followed regarding the explanation for the need for a variance. It appears that Mr. Turner has constructed an 8x24 covered porch for which he had obtained a building permit and unknowingly encroached the 60-foot setback. Mr. Turner has 6 children and wishes to remain in his home in the town of Aurora. Granting the variance and allowing Mr. Turner to construct the requested addition will keep him and his family in our town and give us added tax space. The board voted unanimously to recommend approval of the variance. And that's signed sincerely, Jerry Luttrop, clerk. That's it for correspondence. No one registered.
Staff comments.
Well, it's another variance, asking for relaxation on the dimensional standard in the code. All of the things still apply. It's up to the applicant to present it and meet those statutory requirements. When the board visited the property, they noted that the original home did not meet the required setback to the road. The visibility is good here at the top of a slight rise, and that the traffic is slowed by 2 90-degree corners located on either side of the home. And that's it for my comments.
Anything else?
Nope, unless the applicant has something.
Anything on the committee? Nothing? Anything else, Paul?
I just had a question. You kept mentioning something about there's 10 days for people to say something, like if a neighbor says something. So I should wait 10 days then to pull permits?
10 days is actually the committee before. This one, it's 30 days. If someone would want to appeal,
Okay,
they would appeal directly to court.
okay,
So there is a 30-day appeal period on these decisions.
okay. So then I need to wait 30 days from tonight?
That's up to you.
Kind of be foolish to start. I don't think anybody's going to complain.
That's
The llamas don't care.
That's what you have to weigh, is, there isn't anybody here, so,
Right,
where would that be coming from if they,
right.
so.
Okay.
But that's certainly up to you, if you
Sure.
want to wait.
Sure.
That's the very safe way to do it, is to
Right.
not do anything until the 30-day appeal period is up.
Depending on how long it takes to get the weight restrictions off the road, it may be that long, so.
You could always get the
You're
permits in
gonna
place.
have to draw plans and get your permits, and, that's gonna take some time.
Right, right.
Probably schedule your contractor and excavator and, their schedule, so by the time you actually break ground, it might be 30 days.
Right, good point. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Assuming you get approved.
Okay, that ends this portion of the meeting, and now we're going to stay right here. We're going to have our regular meeting. And when everybody's ready.